printing something really quick for me. Hopefully I won't interrupt you. Can you know that?
Good morning.
I was saying something about the baby being due to my classes yesterday about you, so I have just enough time to run, no, I'm not kidding, I go down there. I'm sitting there, and if you heard me talk, I got a ding. It was the counselor at one of my schools telling me that student had a concussion. It's hard to do anything on a computer when you have a concussion, so. Okay, let me do right up page that page. Morning. Who is this? Oh, my goodness. You guys, I mean, the eyes are the same, you look like you look like this. That's all I have to say, all right? Okay. Burr. So we just need Morton. Well, this is actually, I think, my smallest section overall. That one we just had, there are 15 or 16 at Abernathy, 8 at Crosbyton, and 4 at Lorenzo. So it's my biggest section. The one I had last year with New Deal and Post, it had like 36 in it. Yeah. So it's good it's smaller this year. I have quite a few less. I'm about 35 shorter on ITV. Though I have a new school, I have Health Center, and I have, but New Deal just didn't have, they're about 15 shy of what they normally are, so. And Post is actually smaller, I have. Well,
We can't hear you.
hey. Oh, it's good I took it off. Just waiting for, I don't have Morton, so let me text my ITV people. What is that? Well, it's a small, I like it because it only weighs a couple of pounds. I mean, when I carried around the laptop from previous years, it was, oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. It was so huge. And when my husband had the stroke, I'm carrying around this laptop that's got a 15-inch screen on it and all over UMC, Trust Point, and Moody Rehab. So this is much, and this is easier to carry around. It can be a little bit small, sometimes your fingers are on the wrong keys, but it happens, okay? Let's see.
Can imposing a tax on sugar help fight obesity? Whatever.
That is a change in the schedule, okay? The syllabus for the next 3 weeks. Yay, it's good news. Okay, yeah, it's good news. Okay, I just sent a message that said no Morton, so I'm gonna go ahead and start because it is 10 o'clock. Hopefully, your facilitator, Mr. Rathburn, has handed out a page that looks like this, but we're gonna I'm gonna blow it up for you real quick. Talking about, I had to revise the schedule. Since none of the high schools were there, and dadgummit, nobody let me know until Monday that they weren't gonna be there. I had all the stuff that was being taught that people are having to watch on video, which is not the greatest way to do it. Of course, you can also speed up, because it was not the most interesting thing in the world, I'm sure. I've had to change some dates to accommodate some things. But you're getting some small extra credit assignments out of it, okay? So if you didn't do well on an essay, or didn't turn it in, I'm looking at you, okay? All right, this will help you out when things are late, all right? So let's talk about what's going on. Okay, they're calling to check on why we don't have Morton. So, revised syllabus just for weeks 7 through 9. So 10-11, that's what we did on 10-11 for me and my students who showed up for class, right? There were 4 of y'all, which is how many there's supposed to be today. Your final of your compare and contrast essay was due last night. Today we're having the SBC database tour with Miss Pineda. She's been doing them for me for 5 or 6 years, so we kind of have a rhythm, okay? And then you need to begin doing research and figuring out what you want to do your topic on. That's what you guys need to be doing. And then on Friday, for 5 extra credit points, and trust me, if you're 1 day late, that's 5 points makes up for that's half of those points you lost. You need to turn in to Blackboard the topic for argumentative research essay along with what you think you're going to analyze, how you're going to argue for it. I'm just going to go in here very quickly and open up that's not where I want to be. I need to open up your section. This is section 201 and 442. So I'm going to show you in course content where it's at. Remember, we're in week 7, almost done. We're almost halfway through when we hit week 8. So here's the revised checklist, okay? It's exactly what you should see on that paper. Here there was the turn in the final of the compare and contrast. I've gone ahead and put in the rest of the next 3 weeks, all the summary and argumentation folders with all their documents. There's a document we're going to work with, but turn in an argumentative topic for extra credit. Again, it's only 5 points, but that adds up because there's going to be more. So you can either write the submission or do it in your comments. Just put in there, I'm going to argue that the death penalty should be abolished because of these, and give me your reasons. And that's 5 points. And it should take you 2 minutes to do it, provided you've thought of a topic, okay? So you either can write the submission, which will open up this big box, or you can do it down in comments, either one. Just like what we do when we do peer revision, which is how we'll do peer revision on the summary, okay? Because that's one of those things that has changed. So that's extra credit this week. And there's nothing else going on. So week 8, we go into week 8, and we're going to see now that on Monday, we're going to discuss summary and paraphrase, because the summary assignment has 2 components. You're going to do the summary of an article, but you're also going to paraphrase up to 30 words out of your article, so to get practice on that. And we're going to do some paraphrase practice in class next week, too. Would help if I had the revised thing up here. Revised syllabus, okay. Let me scroll down. So submit, but on Tuesday of next week, you need to submit a copy of the article to Blackboard for extra credit. That's another 5 points. All you have to do is upload an article about your topic and do you don't have to do the summary, you just upload the article so that I know you're starting to research. Does that make sense? That's an extra 5 points. So within 2 easy extra credit assignments, you can make up for being late on something, okay? We're going to practice paraphrasing next Wednesday, and then on Thursday, you're going to submit a draft, or not Thursday, on Friday the 22nd, you're going to submit the draft of the summary paraphrase to Blackboard by midnight, and then I want you to look over the chapters on apostrophes because you guys are horrible with them. as a whole, the world is horrible about how to use an apostrophe correctly. And then we'll do peer revision on Monday, the 25th. And you'll be doing 2 other people's papers, and then that night you can put in your comments. So turning in your summary is worth 12.5 points. Doing those comments about who looks at your essay is 12.5 points. And that's built into the syllabus, so. And then the final's gonna be due the next Tuesday. So you've got 2 weeks until the final of the summary's due. But it's a really, remember, no more than it's basically 1 to maybe 1.5 total pages, okay? And then we're straight back on where we're at, okay? So right now, we're gonna have Miss Pineda come. She is the librarian. She's really nice. She talks very softly. Okay, so I don't know where Morton is. Hopefully they'll be able to watch the recording. Oh, is it Morton who's taking maybe they're the ones taking the PSAT. I don't have down, with my facilitators, I don't have them quite associated with the right classes just yet. So it could have been them instead of Lorenzo taking the PSAT. So, they'll watch it on video. But again, they're doing a pretty good job. I hate to leave it up here I'll just go to Employees Home and you can do what you, oh, great, Scott. I did another one of those, written down everything I said. Okay, post and SBC, here you go. This is Tracy Pineda. Good morning.
We do PC Cam, correct? PC
I'm sorry?
Cam, PC Cam?
PC, yes.
Excuse me.
And if it doesn't go, you have to do it again. There we go.
Excuse me. All right. What I'm going to show you today is how to get to the library site within the Southlands College website, and how to get to some resources that are going to make your research a lot easier. We're not going to really talk about the catalog, like finding print books, but those of you that are here in person, if that is something that interests you, you can be in touch and I can show you some of the different tips about how to use the catalog to borrow different materials that are in print. What we're going to talk about here are going to be the online materials, because most of you are going to be working away from campus, and even if you're on campus, you may be in a lab or something like that, and want to take advantage of how to access the databases with the journal articles and the ebooks and the videos. So that's what we're going to talk about mostly. Let me show you how to get to our page, excuse me, and how to get help if you need to be in touch with any of the library staff. If you start at the home page of the school, there is a menu in this orange area here, the Student Services menu. You click to open it, and the library is right there. There are a couple other places on this page where you could link to it too, but that's the quickest way to get to it. And I'm not sure what your screen looks like. This one has the buttons sort of all arranged vertically. You may be working on a computer and the screen is a lot wider, and you can see them all sort of spread out. The one I want to point out before we get into the collections is this big red box right here that says click here for help. The tech librarian over in, I say the tech librarian, it's the Levelland librarian who handles all our sort of the technology stuff in the website. He made that the largest button on the screen so people would hopefully notice it if they needed help. When you click here for help, you'll see a button with the hours. So if you wanted to know, when people are available, when the libraries are open, you could click that. And it will show the Levelland campus and the Reese campus. And even in Plainview, there are certain times when there's an area there that has been a library location that has a library liaison there who will be in touch with library staff when people come in with questions up there. Also, there's a link that says Meet the Staff. So if you wanted to be in touch with a particular person, like if you wanted to contact me after, the discussion here today about something that I mentioned or a question you have, especially since you're here on site, you can find the Reese staff, and I'm listed there, Tracy Pineda. My office number and my email address is there. Any librarians, either Levelland or Reese, would be very happy to help you though. So If you wanted to contact, Nathan, in Levelland or Callie, you're looking through and you find somebody, you could still reach out, and anybody, any of the staff would be helpful. Also, and I'm going to go back and run through this again, click here for help. Below the button about the hours, there is a chat box. It says, how can we help? If you leave it blank, you'll just be anonymous. You can put your name in, no problem with that. Every now and then we'll get a question, and we maybe need to have a little more time to research the answer, and we might ask, can we email you back with an article or with a suggestion? And people can then send their email and things like that. But you can leave it blank and then click Start Chat. And Reese staff and Levelland Library staff are waiting to answer questions. So at any one time, there's at least one person, usually there are 2 or 3, from both campuses that are waiting to answer questions. So if there is a message on the screen or it says chat unavailable, there is also an option to email us directly from this area. In fact, if you go down just a little bit below that, there's a section that says email a librarian. And this will let you put in your name and email. And it doesn't have to be South Plains College email, but if you have it and can put that in, it kind of helps us a little bit to be in touch with you. And where you attend. And if you want to say online, other, I'm not sure, that's fine. You don't have to specify. In fact, some people are at multiple campuses. So that is so that maybe the email could be directed to a different campus if it matters, on which campus you're on. What is your question? And you can type that in. So you can be in touch with library staff about different questions from this page. And then below that, here's more information. This contact info will give you the general Levelland Library number and the reference email address. That email will go to someone on campus, not to a specific librarian, but library staff will get it. Below that, there's Reese information. This is our general number here at Reese and our reference email. So all that you can find just from that big red click here for help button. Okay. This research button, and also below here, hours of operation, technology requests, that kind of routes you back to one of the pages that we just looked at already. Everything kind of diverges and converges so that people have more than one way to get to it. This research button will break down different collections by subject. Above that, there's a little video about how to log in. When you're off campus, or if you're not on the Wi-Fi, even if you're on the Wi-Fi here on campus, at some point, if you click in from one of the journal databases or ebook collections, you're going to see a screen that says login. It'll be like Microsoft, put in your username and password. That's your SPC username and password. When you're off campus, say you're at home doing research, you're going to see that. And you're going to need to put in your username and password to proceed to actually access the content of, say, an ebook collection or a video or something like that. This little video here that was prepared by one of the librarians in Levelland kind of takes you through step by step to show you what to expect. On this page also is information about citations. So if you need a little help with MLA-style citations, there's some suggestions here and some links that will take you to different sites online that could help you. For example, the Purdue OWL, the Purdue Online Writing Lab. There's a link that you can follow here. Now for this assignment, I said I'm going to recommend databases online, ebooks, and videos. The catalog is here if you wanted to explore that. For example, we can use that and borrow books from Levelland and have them sent over so that all you have to do is pick them up from us, or you can find the books that are in our collection. But for online, the database box here and the ebooks and the video boxes, these are the ones that probably are going to be the most helpful for this assignment. You click on the databases article. Again, there's the library hours button and the little video about how to log in. And below that, there are 3 other sections. The first section says General Article Databases. And it could be that between these 2 links, the Academic Search Complete and the Opposing Viewpoints, you may find everything that you need. I mean, there may be plenty just right there. But there is a section below that says subject databases. So if your particular subject is something that might be discussed more in depth in a particular special collection, like a health collection or a science collection, you could go and you can find groups of databases that focus on that subject. Below that is the A to Z list. That means all the different collections we have are listed A to Z. And if we have time, I'll show you what you can do with that too, because sometimes the breakdown above, by subject, you might think, well, health sciences, but then it's broken down child development, nursing, respiratory. I'm not looking for any of those in particular, but I want something health related. The A to Z database list could help you, and I'll show you that in a little bit. For the general collections, probably the best place to start, because of the nature of your assignment, because it's a topic that people take different sides about, they have different viewpoints about, is the opposing viewpoints. When you click on that, it's going to get into this collection, and the main focus of this collection is to list topics that are disputed or discussed or debated and have been for a long time. There's a search box where you can type in what you're looking for. If you're not sure what you're looking for, you can look down a little bit further past where it's listing some things that are of interest right now in the news. They have browsed the issues, and they've broken the issues into different categories like business, energy, health, law, science, society, war and diplomacy. But then there's a box for browse all 470 issues.
This is, if you haven't decided on topic, this is a good place to go and see what's out there.
You can browse for a lot of info. And depending on the size of your screen, what you're looking at, you're either going to see several columns or maybe one large column. I think I've gotten it to the size where I've got the columns, 3 columns on screen. Let me enlarge it a little bit. And you can see the debate topics, and then they're alphabetized. And you can scroll through. Now, my example topic that I'm going to use throughout the different searches for just for today is driverless cars. Good idea, bad idea. What are the pros, what are the cons? What are the benefits of going that route, and what are some of the drawbacks? And as I look through the list, if I'm looking for, driverless cars, not to the D's quite yet, there we go. I see deforestation, democracy, depression, designer babies, digital media, DNA, domestic violence, drones, drug abuse. I don't see driverless cars. So I'm like, does that mean it's not in here? Not necessarily. It just means that there's not a grouping under that heading, under that subject heading. So what I can do instead is I will use the search box that's up at the top, and I'm going to type in my search and see what it pulls up. And it might be that maybe driverless cars is just one way to describe the topic. Maybe there's another official sort of subject classification for that topic. They just don't call it the same thing I'm calling it. And when I type that in, it's going to show me down below there some of the other searches people have done. You've seen that before, like when you search Google. You'll see some other ones, and sometimes you'll see something better maybe that you hadn't thought of than the search that you were going to do. Driverless cars, driverless vehicles, driverless technology, trains, driverless trucks, other ideas. Okay. I'm just going to stick with driverless cars for now. And it will take me to a screen with a list of different results. Now, this collection breaks down the results into different formats, like it's going to have magazine articles, it's going to have academic, the scholarly journal articles, it may have news from newspaper articles, some videos, and things like that. They also have a category that a lot of the other databases don't, and that's called viewpoints. I mean, that's their whole focus, different viewpoints about whatever topics are in here. The viewpoints, in this case, it's showing me there are 15. It pulled up 15 viewpoints that might relate to the search words that I typed in there. And when I look at the viewpoints, I'm gonna see different kinds of maybe essays that take a position about the topic. Driverless cars might follow the rules of the road, but what about the language of driving? Here's one. Driverless cars could eliminate road rage. It's taking a position on this hey, this is probably, driverless cars could be good. We wouldn't have so many road rage incidents where people get run off the road or shot or assaulted or whatever. It's probably going to discuss some of the reasons why it might eliminate it. This one, however, automated vehicles, and that's another term then, automated vehicles. I could make note of that term and use it again in another search. Automated vehicles may encourage a new breed of distracted drivers. It might just be one more way people can look at their phone instead of having the hands on the wheel, the eyes on the road. This one seems to be taking a different kind of view. Here's one. Driverless cars will not solve the problem of road rage. That's the flip side of that other one, that first one. Now, if you look right below, it says the editor, gives the editor's name, and it says it's from Road Rage. There's probably a book, a little collection here from this database provider, this company, that's just about road rage. And there are two essays at least in it. One says that driverless cars can end it. The other one says, no, driverless cars probably won't end road rage. Two different essays in the collection taking different sides on this issue.
And remember, you have to do the counter-argument. So Opposing Viewpoints is a good source to have the counter-argument right in the same section as whether you're for or against, you have your opposing viewpoint right there. So you have a source to use in that section of the essay.
When you click the title, I'm going to click on this one about it will not solve the problem of road rage. This top, the article commentary, it's giving you a little background. This is not the official article, but it's giving you some background. And it will start right below that blue box.
Was that an abstract?
I think you could probably call it that. They're just calling it article commentary.
So you can't quote from an article commentary. That's somebody else giving you information about the article.
Yeah, it's kind of preparing you to read it, to know what's coming in the article.
So that's not, you have to actually be in the body of the article to use that as a source.
And this one, driverless cars, more like four-wheeled Terminators. They're giving you also a citation to an article that might have been part of this discussion. Now, if you wanted to get this article and read it in detail, maybe you don't really have time right now, there are tools that will let you do that. Here, just above the article, besides letting you increase the size of it, and this listen, you could listen. There will probably be a computerized voice reading it to you. Over on the right, it gives you options. You could send the article if you have Google, a Google account. You could send it to Google Drive, OneDrive. I believe everybody has OneDrive through the school with Microsoft. The envelope, there's email. This collection is from a company called Gale, and they sort of have their default setup. That means you can send it to your own email, whether it's South Plains, Gmail, iCloud, whatever. Send it to the email that you will check, likely on your phone. You'll see when it arrives in your email. From, you don't have to put that it's from you to you. You could, if you have a problem with spam, that stuff gets taken out and put in junk mail that doesn't have a sender. This database puts in a subject for you, so you don't have to formulate, what the subject line's going to be. They put in the title. You could put a message if you said, look at paragraph 3, or if you want to. Don't have to, but you can. This send as, full text or citation, I would say leave full text. If you click citation, all you're going to get is the citation. You might get a link, and then you've got to go all the way back through the databases and log in again, and it could be a hassle. If you click full text, it will send you the document, and the citation is going to be included anyway. They just do that with Gale products. Click send, and it will send it to you. Download, you can just download it if you wanted to, put it on your laptop, put it on a USB drive. If you wanted to have it that way and not have to have any connection to the internet while you're working, you can do that. There's also a print icon. And if you're here on campus, you have a print account that you can use throughout the semester. You got 500 pages already included, $25 in paper cut, where you can print out stuff that you need for class, or whatever, actually. If you want to print as a PDF and save it that way, you can do that here. The tools are also up above. some of the same ones, cite, send to, download and print. Up above where it has the little quotation mark there, if you just wanted to see the citation, maybe you've got your Word document open already and you're trying to do your bibliography or your works cited list, sort of on the spot, you could open up the cite page. Their default is MLA. You could highlight it and copy it, paste it in your document, and then check it. Some of the databases are not perfect when it comes to the citations. The pieces may all be there, but sometimes their formatting is a little funny, what they capitalize or what they don't italicize and things like that. Gale is really pretty good, but you still always need to check. So those are some of the tools. If you get into the results and look at the viewpoints, you can also see articles from magazines, journals, and newspapers. And in this case, I've got 50 academic journals I could look at. Magazines, 160. Are driverless cars a good idea? Some of the news stories can be very interesting in that they can give you different viewpoints that you could then use in other searches. Different keywords and topics like that. Rock Block, I don't know. Is it smarter than a 7-month-old? AI for vehicles. That would be interesting.
I hope it's smarter than the seven-month-old.
Yeah. Look, no hands, autonomous vehicles. If you wanted to limit your results, you can do that here. For example, I might not want articles about driverless cars from 10 years ago. Since it deals with technology, I think newer would be better. So I can go, let me see if I can reduce the size so you can see what I'm talking about. Over on the upper right, there's a section with different filters. And there is one that says search within. So if there's something else in particular, like if I wanted to do driverless cars and road rage, I could type road rage here and it would show me out of that 160 how many of these articles actually mention road rage. It would reduce the size of that. If I wanted to alter the publication date and say maybe just past 5 years, say 2016, I'll do January. And through maybe the end of this month. So out of 160, now I have 96. Still a lot, but it eliminated a lot of the stuff that was older. And most of the databases will let you do that. It just depends on your topic. Is the timeliness of it really important? If it's not, you don't have to set it. If it is, you might want to take that into consideration because some of the databases go back several decades, and you want to keep an eye on that time frame. So those are some things you can do with that. The academic journals, the news, magazines, all are available. I think I've mentioned all the tools that are here. Any questions about this? Once you start getting into it, if you have questions, you can be in touch and we can kind of help you get past whatever little roadblock that might be there. But I think that once you start experimenting, you're going to see a lot of potential here because you're going to get different sides to different issues. The other general collection that may take care of everything that you need is the Academic Search Complete. It's the one right above it. Again, we're in the article, the journal and periodical article section. This comes from a different company. It has a different look. They're not focused just on viewpoints, topics that are in dispute. Okay, they just have a huge collection of journals and magazines, that kind of content. So when you get into this collection, you can put in your topic, your keywords. I'm going to see also another list drop down of other searches people have done. In this case, I noticed a few things that I kind of noticed before, but not in the searches. Driverless cars or autonomous vehicles. So whatever your topic is, there's probably more than one way to describe it. Maybe not, but usually there is. And if you can think of more than one way to describe it, that's a good thing because it increases the results you're going to get. One thing to do in this database is notice, and I'll try to make it easier to notice. Where somebody looked for driverless cars or autonomous vehicles, they used that word or on purpose. When you combine two different words, two different phrases with the word or, that means I want articles with this or that, either one. So the list is gonna be bigger, right? If I said it has to be driverless cars and autonomous vehicles, that means both of those things have to be in the articles, and that will narrow down my results. It's kind of the opposite of math. Somebody told me that.
It's one of those skills that the coordinating conjunction help you search.
Yeah.
So that's why I use it. I was just gonna say, I just went on my phone and went into the library database and to see how easy it was. And the only way I could get a document sent to me was through, OneDrive, because I don't use Google Drive, so if you're sitting in class and the instructor's not making you happy, you can search.
You can
And
go
it
ahead.
tells me that it will be up in my one file, which is, I have two, so I'll have to go figure out which one it is. I have one for the school and one personally.
And that could be if the document's large, because some of them, if you find some of the scholarly journals, some of them might be 25, 35 pages long. And if they're in PDF format, it might be a large file. And it may be that the school does not want you, it's like, sorry, we can't send you this very large document through email. You can upload it, and here's a link to get to it from the cloud.
Well, the other thing I noticed is if I'm right at the beginning of the article, there is the option for email. And you can email yourself articles off your phone.
Yeah.
Okay? That's so, and we're on it so much, instead of playing a game or watching TikTok or reading whatever you're doing, Instagram, tweet, okay? You can actually be doing research, so that's handy. I just thought I'd try that while.
Yeah. And because you have the time, and then wherever you are, then if you get on your laptop, another computer, all that stuff is in your email, that you can look at when you really have time and a bigger screen to read it.
If you will hit the one that says doc over there, I want to show y'all that I hit the little email icon on my phone. I can go back. Oh, great, I went too far back. But it gave me the email option on my phone. So, don't sit there and say, well, I don't have internet on my computer. You got it on your phone, most likely, okay? So do it, all right? I just thought that was kind of cool.
And the formatting is better than it used to be as far as being able to do that on a smaller device.
Yeah, it actually, you send it to yourself. As she said, you might want to say who it's from, and then the message, but it's got full text, and the full text will give you the citation in MLA. I think I was
From
in
Gail.
opposing viewpoint.
From opposing
Yeah,
viewpoint.
I was in opposing viewpoint, so that's, okay, just as a heads up. I just thought I'd try that, because that was kind of cool.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
Are we limited to the resources of SBC?
If you want to make an A, you have to have two sources from the SBC database, okay? I do not want blogs, I do not want internet. I don't just want some website we found and Lord only knows who's behind it. It's one of those deals where if you're gonna use a website, you need to know who's giving you that information. Because can we trust everything we read on the internet? Obviously not.
That's what I'm about to ask. So, can we do a review on how to check sources?
Well, I'll do that later on.
Okay.
Because she's showing you specifically how to use theirs. Because these are legitimate, these are valid, they've been archived, they've been published, they've actually, everything you're gonna see has been published in some way, shape, or form, which means it's been checked in a way.
Usually they go through some sort of editorial process. Now, can they be wrong? I mean, at some point though, at least you say, well, I know who's responsible for saying this, who published this. This was published in this journal or this book, things like that, rather than, I don't know who this person is. Or, I mean, people could say anything. At least it's been vetted to some extent, and you can point to where the information came from. And then I guess that comes into part of your debate about, well, is this a good argument or not? What the point they're making or the case they're making.
I mean, it might be just a case-by-case situation. If you find something on the website, you need to show me and let me make that decision instead of you saying, I'll use it anyway, because I'm not gonna count it as a legitimate source if you haven't cleared it with me, okay? Whereas the SBC databases, I will.
When you're here saying that academic search complete, and I'm going to leave the search like this to up my chances of getting some results, I'm not going to do anything to this field selector, because if I leave it alone, what's going to happen is the database is going to look for driverless cars or autonomous vehicles in the title of articles, in the subject, the official subject headings, and in the summaries or the abstracts. And we talked about that before too. The abstracts are like the overview, the little summary of the article. And it's a good idea to look that over because you may not want to read through the entire article before you decide, nah, this is not going to be helpful. If they could tell you up front, and you can get an idea up front what the article's about, that will save you some time.
3,680. That's a lot.
Right.
You don't want to look through all those.
No. Now, the other thing I can do here, and this is sort of similar to in Gale, where it had the search within, out of all these articles, and again, these terms are showing up pretty prominently because it's only going to be from titles, subjects, or the abstracts. I want to know, do any of these talk about road rage? I imagine they do out of 3,000 plus, but which ones? I don't want to look through that many. So how do you do the search within in this kind of collection? Well, if I type in road rage, and then over here I do change the field. If I select text or all text, that means it's going to look for road rage inside the pages of the articles, not just in those prominent places. And it's going to show me in the next result list which ones mention road rage. Now, I could still leave this as it is, and maybe there's some articles here that also include that as a major subject. But I want you to know you do have some options to look a little bit further into these collections. 25. That's a big reduction.
You can look through 25.
Mm-hmm. Hands off the wheel, the role of law in the coming extinction of human-driven vehicles. That sounds kind of interesting too. In these from EBSCO, you will see PDF full text pretty often. You may see HTML. If you click the title, there's driverless cars, autonomous vehicles. Now, road, it may have separated road from rage, and if that's the case, I should be able to see this here too in just a minute. And this is actually from Texas Tech University Law School. The tools are on the right, the same ones to print, to email, save, download, all those kinds of things. Those are available here too. I'm going to go, let's see, where are you?
You need to shrink it.
I'm trying to shrink it to see that PDF link. I may have to go back. Let me go back.
When you blow up the screen, sometimes you lose stuff on the side.
Right.
No. So clicking the article, if you click the title of the article, you won't necessarily get the article, you'll get
No.
an abstract.
You'll see the summary
Yeah.
really quickly. And usually, probably on some of your screens, you'll see that PDF link in the upper left, and you can click on it there, or maybe HTML. If not, it will be underneath the citation. This is 53 pages long from a law journal. Most of those are pretty lengthy, okay? But in depth. Now, if I want to email this, save it, get the citation right now, because I don't have time to read 53 pages, I can go to those tools, and I can use the email function here. Now, this is going to be different from Gale. The EBSCO company doesn't give you the MLA off the bat. It doesn't put the subject heading in for you. You got to do that yourself. You can still put in whatever email you want, okay? But you put in a subject as detailed or as general as you want. Article 1, Article 2, an article I like, or the title of the article, law review, something. Put that in there. Over on the right, make sure that you change the citation format, because they will not do this for you. If you don't, and you just send it, it'll attach the document, and you'll get the Brazilian style format.
Which doesn't work.
Right.
It's not MLA.
So open the menu, click on MLA, pretend you got your email in there, and then send. And when you do that, it's going to send the article to you and the citation,
Unfortunately, no, that's good to know.
in the body of the paper. If you're working, again, if you've got your Word document open, you're working on your Works Cited, the most boring looking icon ever, this yellow piece of paper, that's the citation tool. And you can scroll till you see MLA. There it is. Most of the time, everything looks good, but double check it, because EBSCO, to me anyway, is kind of notorious for having the author's names all in caps, or they don't.
The titles will be all lowercase.
Yeah, so the details you need to check, okay? So those are there. If you are looking at this huge document, and you just kind of wanted to know, okay, where does road rage show up? So that I know, is this even worth it? Does it mention it one time or whatever? A lot of the documents that are in the databases will let you use a shortcut to find content. Not all of them. It doesn't always work, but a lot of times it does. You use the control button, the F key, and you can use this on the web. You can use this with HTML. It's very handy. So control F. It opens up a box in usually the upper right, and you can type in the word you're looking for. I'm going to look for the word rage, and it looks like it only shows up one time. Natural focal point of citizen rage, just automobiles when they were new. Okay? This is really not talking about road rage, so I'm just going to skip it. If that word or road rage showed up 20 times and I could scan through it, I thought, okay, there's probably a lot more content here, and it might be worth me sending it to myself for a look later. Does that make sense? So that's just a little shortcut. If you get a really long document and you're not sure how much of it really is relevant, try Control F.
We have about 7 minutes left.
Okay, let me show you. Those were the subject guides, the A to Z list. If you go to the A to Z list and you're curious, okay, what health collections are there or science and technology collections are there, you could try the subject guide that's already prepared. But if you go here, you have the alpha list of everything that you could scroll through, or you could see the breakdown. 10 business, 14 different collections related to health science, law enforcement, history, government, science and agriculture, psychology. You click and you'd see a much shorter list. In fact, if what you're related, like driverless cars, there's a lot of technology involved in that, and science. So I might want to stick with some science and technology collections. Academic Search Complete is still there, but there's one called Gale in Context Science, and
Opposing Viewpoints is still there.
Opposing Viewpoints is there, and I'm thinking, where is the other one? SciTech. The Gale in Context Science, that's the one I'm trying to think of. That one is similar in a way to the Opposing Viewpoints, but focused on scientific topics, different things that are going on in science, and different viewpoints that way. So the A to Z list can let you kind of filter down by subject, if you want to try that. Now, let me show you the videos really quickly too. eBooks, you could explore. There are several collections, or a couple there at the top that are highlighted, or that I would highlight. But let me show you the videos too, because if you click the videos box, you're still going to see some familiar things there. There are 3 collections. Only one of them, I think, would be relevant to this assignment. Swank, fun, interesting stuff there, but not necessarily nonfiction or documentary series type things. Films on Demand, that's the one. You'll see another one below that, but Films on Demand, that's the collection that could help you with this one, I think. You can browse, environmental issues, history, things like that, but you can also search. So if I put in driverless cars or autonomous vehicles or whatever else I've learned, I can search it. It's going to bring up a list of results, and every single one of these is a video. I can stream it here, at home, wherever. I think I mentioned this a while ago, whenever you're off campus, right? You're going to have to log in?
Yes.
Okay. Same thing with this. This first one, service sector, driverless taxis. This is a segment from a larger video that's called The Truth About Killer Robots. Okay. Okay.
Great title.
It was HBO. HBO produced it in 2018. I could watch the video here. I could even follow along. There's a transcript link. Beware, there may be some objectionable content. Should be really interesting.
Former centers of manufacturing became the testing grounds for the new driverless taxis.
I'll turn that down.
Yeah, it sounds like they have a robot or a computer reading it anyway, which is appropriate, I guess. But you can follow the transcript, or if you notice, you can also download the transcript. Go to the top. You can download a copy of the transcript, so when you're trying to cite something in your paper, you know, you're watching it and it will give you the time that that section appears. You may also want to get the content that you can see written that you could then use in your citation. So you can download a transcript for any of these videos. Also, below or on the bottom of this screen, you will notice there's a closed caption feature. You can turn that on. 1x, that means that's the speed. If you want to listen to it, view it a little quicker, you can do that. There's also a way to enlarge it full screen, and there's also an option to cast. So if you wanted to watch it on your big smart TV, you can cast it. So you're on your phone, you can cast it there, and so you don't have to watch it the other way. Let's see what else. The citation, that's right. Their default is MLA. So if you want to get the MLA style for this video, it is there. Copy and paste.
Okay, so just as a reminder, thank you, Ms. Pineda.
You're
For one
welcome.
thing, we appreciate it. Of course not. When it's on the computer for so long, it gets a little cranky. There we go. Just a reminder that the extra credit, where you give me your topic and the possible sections you're gonna discuss or argue, that's due Friday. That's all you've got. And then Monday, we're gonna go more into summary and paraphrase, okay? So that's what's coming up. So have a great weekend as of Wednesday. This feels on. Oh, yeah, she's got some goodies for you guys. Yeah.
They're not like.
Yeah. Just to show you, I'm gonna show them what they're not getting. If they were sitting in class with me, you would have an opportunity to get a cute little notebook that is full of sticky things. If you like those, yeah, they're great. And she's also got some highlighters over there. You already got one. Did I give you one? I gave you one. Yeah, are you using it?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, so this is what you would get if you were there. So be sure to get that extra credit in. And it's just, there's several coming up. I'm just trying to make sure that you're getting the work done by offering those extra credit opportunities. Because it doesn't look like, I had a lot of people not do the peer revision discussion board. And that was, you know, by not doing it, you didn't just miss extra credit, you lost points, so.
So get a couple of books, get a couple of highlighters. We have
Yeah, give it to your friends is good.
green
No.
and what's in blue, no yellow available. We
Yeah.
ordered a bunch of other ones, said, sorry, shortage.
It's just, well, they're kinda cool.
I don't like yellow, they'll totally.
Well, these are
Yeah.
gel, so.
The
don't use them in
highlighters?
car either, yeah, they might melt in the.
Well, and if you don't use them, they dry up.
Yeah.
You can have the lid on them and they'll still dry up. Don't forget to change in the revision in the syllabus, all right? I'll see you on Monday. Okay, well, let's
Did
see.
the high schools meet on Friday?
Your conference is scheduled to end in 2 minutes.
Well, we don't meet on Friday, even though, they have class, and so that's when I go out and visit with them.
Oh, okay, that's why you said something about donuts or whatever.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking donuts to Abernathy.
Okay.
It's a case of, Fridays in the spring are, and once you get to the mid-November, are a hassle because of athletics. You have basketball tournaments, kids are gone for that on Friday, so you're not, if we met, we'd be missing a lot of kids. And then in the spring, you have track meets on Fridays, which is crazy, but that's how it works. Thanks for visiting. You gonna get me something? Soon?
Your conference is now over. Goodbye.
Those where it's not a big deal, I just like, hey, well, I'm here, so it's just how it has to be.
23 in person or?
No, I only have 4 in person, the rest are all, I've got 15 at Health Center, 1 at Last Buddy, and 4 at Wellman Union, so I've got 24 total. The ones in the class give me somebody to interact with, so.
It's nice, yeah, who was it? It was like, when I can't see people, it's nice to be able to at least hear people, but not seeing people, it is a little bit.
And that's one of the issues, that's why I'm asking them if they would do my room, because I can't, at least last year, we had to put the speaker on last year because I couldn't hear them. None of my microphones work in here. My camera, I can't show my students in here because the camera doesn't work. The system is about between, I want to say, 10 and 15 years old, which means it's ancient. It's like a dinosaur. The schools are having the same situation. It's just gotten so old. But like everyone else, they've got a lot of stuff that's sitting out in boats and harbors waiting to come over, I'm sure, so.
Well, what's the info with
No, it's very helpful, and, I kind of like the topic, but, I was sitting there, I was actually looking at organized crime. I just went to the topic list and opposing viewpoints and just picked one of those and thought, I was gonna go through and see what I could come up with. And so organized crime also includes gangs.
Well, we could, to keep it kind of boring tomorrow, because we've been talking about.
For you and me. For you and me, yeah.
Some of the topics, like different teachers.
Oh, yeah.
I do not want this topic or that one.
Oh, no, well, we don't do abortion, homosexuality, gun control, or there's one more on it, I can't remember. Just because people don't write well, prayer in schools. People don't write well about those topics, and I don't want to have to read those papers. So, because it's either people who are gung-ho for it, or the people who are anti, and they just don't do well.
Well, we can try something tomorrow then, if you think it's something else, we can try a different one tomorrow, because most of them, if it's something, with the search options and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to draw this stuff out, sometimes it's more interesting kind of on the fly.
That's true.
If it doesn't work.
I'm trying to remember, what was the one that you did a couple of years ago that was really quirky? I couldn't remember it last year either, so. It was just a really quirky one, it was kind of cool.
Just read the news and things are like, oh wow, they're talking about, one I thought about was maybe with, social media during the pandemic, eating disorders.
Ah.
Especially with all the stuff going on about, well,
Hmm.